Proverbs 5:8. Speaking of the adulterous person or the wayward person, the thing that would lead you away, that would hook you. It says, keep to a path far from her. Do not go near the door of her house. 1 Corinthians 6:18. Flee from sexual immorality. All their sins a man commits are outside his body. He who sins sexually sins against his own body. Flee from them. Had a good friend, was a minister. He was in a meeting. It was actually a choir practice, I believe. And he was there, and people were starting to leave. There were a lot of people there, and he was sitting there on the piano bench talking to people. And pretty soon there was just a couple people there, and a couple people were off talking. And there was he was married. This woman was married, and she came up and sat down next to him and started talking, and took her hand and just slapped it down on his leg, and just kind of like that, just to grab, like that. Now that may have been totally innocent, but fortunately this man trained himself. You know what? I'm not even going to give a place to that, because it could lead to wrong thoughts, it could lead to wrong things. And he did the funniest thing, but it was so cool, is he jumped up and he ran out the room. Jumped up and stinking did a Joseph in the Bible, just ran away from the deal. I'm telling you what, if you got to do that, you got to do that. Yeah, you're going to look goofy, but you know what? I've pretty much decided that I kind of enjoy being goofy. I pretty much decided, I see what's out there, and I'm like, you know what? That's not really cool anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and be goofy and do stuff like that. Okay? And you can do it to protect and control your eyes, capture your thoughts, run for your life. Just a couple in closing, very practical things that you do need to do with this issue. The first thing is if you have a stash of something, destroy it. Get rid of it. If the trash doesn't come tomorrow, then burn it, so you won't be tempted to get back to it. Okay? The next thing is ensure accountability. Ever since I was in high school, I have had, it's been different people, I've had a very close Christian friend who we talk about this subject. And we agree that at some point we will ask each other questions, say, hey, how's it been going? Have you been controlling your eyes? Have you been looking at anything that you should be looking at? Been thinking anything you should be doing it? And we are close enough to where we can ask those questions. And it's accountability is the reason why, because you need somebody to help you. I wouldn't do that with just anybody. But certainly a spouse would be a person that could do that, a very, very close friend that you know you're safe with. Would be a person like that. I have someone right now in my life that we call each other at a specific time during the week for that reason. Hey Andrew, how's your week going? And when they say, how's your week going, I know exactly what they're talking about. They're talking about this issue. They're saying, gosh, well, what's wrong with you? You got some kind of issue or something? I'm like, well, I could, but it's not going to be an issue. And that's the reason why. You've got to do stuff like that, okay? Have accountability. Third thing, protect your internet usage. The internet is an incredible tool. I use it every day. I think it's just the most awesome thing in the world. But it can also be horribly destructive. And horribly, horribly awful as far as this goes. I'm going to give you a website. And you're going to flip out when you do this website. But it's a Christian website. It's xxxchurch.com. xxchurch.com. So you're going, what? It's actually a ministry. Okay? On that website, they have a few different things that they have one that's a free download for PC or Mac that actually will help to ensure accountability. And you put a friend's address on that, and they will actually get a report if you've been looking at anything wrong on that website. It's just a way to help accountability. There's a free one on there, and then there's also some that you can buy that actually are filters that will filter stuff. But that's a way to keep accountability. By the way, on that subject, there was a guy that had this going. He had this deal where a person would get, if there had been anything questionable that had been looked at on that computer, that person would get a report. And that person called and said, hey man, I just got a report from your computer that you've been looking at some stuff. And the guy was like, well, really? I haven't. He says, like, I assure you, I promise you, I have not been looking at anything. And the guy's like, okay, I trust you, I believe you. Well, it happened again. The guy got the report and asked me, hey man, I got this report again, that you've been looking at stuff. And he's like, man, I assure you, I don't know what's going on. There's something wrong with the program because I haven't been looking at it. And then he got to think, he's like, well, does anybody else have access to my computer? He thought, well, I've got a younger brother, and maybe him or one of his friends got on there. Well, he figured out it was his dad that had been looking at stuff on his computer. And he said it took him literally months to confront his dad about that. And he did. And he said it was really hard, but it was really good. And it was a secret that came out in the open that began to get some healing. Okay? And the last thing here is avoid all dangerous places. Avoid dangerous places. Anywhere that you know that you could go that could potentially be a dangerous place, do not even let the soles of your feet step foot there. Might even for some of you mean taking a different route home. Because there could be places that you drive by that maybe get the thoughts going or the mind going, or even a temptation to stop or do something. Go a different way home. Why do we do this? All this is to protect the wound from further injury. And this is what's so cool, guys. Romans 12:2. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. As you control your eyes, you capture your thoughts, you run for your life, you protect the wound. You, with the help of God, will begin to walk in a measure of purity that you never thought were possible.